For the Namibians, I said, and I mean it, we are too few to be poor. And this goes with the whole of Africa. Our population is just the same population as China, but the resources we are having, they are enormous as a continent. And if we have to put the global south, we are the richest in this planet.
Yes, we are the richest in this planet, but we are still poor. Welcome and greetings all of you brothers and sisters. In this video, we are going to see why African leaders are not working together. What is behind Africans or African leaders' speech? If you listen, all African leaders are speaking very nicely. But the question is why African leaders are not taking actions to unite while they know the problems. Listen here what President Ramaphosa is saying.
Africa is not seeking aid, it is seeking partners. And that is why we are here. Partners that understand value creation, sustainable development, and mutual industrialization.
Yes, Africa is not seeking aid. Africa is seeking partner. That is Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa. If you heard at the beginning from Madam President, President of Namibia, she said that Africa has the same population with China. And also Africa has a lot of resources. And yet Africa is poor. Africa, with almost the same population, is seeking partner to China. The China or Chinese who have few resources compared to Africa. What's wrong with Africa? If China, with almost about the same population to Africa, with limited resources, has developed, China has uplifted millions of Chinese from poverty, and yet Africa, with abundant natural resources, with almost the same population with China, Africa is still poor. What's wrong with Africa? What's the problem of Africa? Let us listen what President Duma Gideon Boko said. Maybe this is the main reason for Africa to be poor and to be where Africa it is today. Let us listen what President Duma Boko he said.
Attention on wrestling with the challenges that bedevil our continent. We've seen when the rough winds of circumstance demonstrated to us the challenge that faces multilateralism in today's world. We've seen how over-reliance on trade with certain powers of the world has rendered us so fatally vulnerable that we are now dependent on their mood swings. They determine what happens on the African continent. And this is because we've allowed ourselves to fall into a trap of self-loathing, where we've hated not just ourselves but our neighbors on the African continent. We've refused, we've been reluctant to trade with each other, to see and recognize each other's worth. We've come to that.
It looks like President Boko wants to cry because he see what's happening in the continent, that we denied to trade with each other. We have been told what to do. We are reluctant to others. And yet we have possibility and option to trade among ourselves. And yet African leaders, when they meet in meetings, summits, They're speaking about the same thing. This thing of trading among ourselves, it doesn't started yesterday. This thing is many years ago. But the problem is, why not African leaders and Africans in general saying from now and then, let us trade among ourselves. Stop importing rice while there's rice in your neighboring country. Why it is very easy for African nations to import things that is already in the continent of Africa. What's wrong with us? And yet, in occasions, in summits, in meetings, African leaders are speaking very nicely, quoting founding fathers, quoting philosophers. And yet, when it comes to implementation, it is nothing. So let us continue a little bit with President Boko. Then I come.
That inflection point in our history, when we must recognize that we need each other. We need each other desperately as African countries, as Africans. We must reach out. We must reach out across.
Yes, we need each other. There's no shortage of congratulation. We congratulate people for good speeches, for good statement, but what is our actions? Oh, our action. What is our action? What are our actions? That is what we need to focus. We need each other on how we need each other. Let us move on.
We must reach out barriers, across boundaries, across barricades, and find each other, and lean on each other, and hold each other by the hand as we strengthen, deepen intra-Africa trade. That's our only means of survival. We've spoken on this. There's been a lot of political rhetoric around these issues. We are at that point where words must now translate into tangible deliverables. Hundreds of thousands of our citizens across the breadth, the length of the African continent are still caught in the hellish death grip of poverty and unemployment.
Yes, that is President Doma Boko. Of course, all in all, what he is talking is the issue of working together, intra-trade. So why there's no intra-trade? Some may say it's because of borders. We have these borders. And why Africans, special leaders, are not ready to remove these borders? So maybe we see each other as different people, or we see each other as enemies. Why? We know the challenge, we know the problem, and we know the solution, we have the solution, but we are not implementing that solution. Let me share also from President Hakainde Hichilema, the president of Zambia. Listen what he said here.
So, Botswanas and Zambians share a lot in common, not just the border, physical border, by the way, drawn by us, by people seated in Berlin sometime, years back, and sometimes cut families and separated them into two different countries. So we have a lot of commonalities, people to people. Language, I must say, as you were singing your national anthem, I know my Minister of Infrastructure probably would have tried to join you because he speaks the language. I understand the language myself by virtue of that proximity.
Yes, that is President of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. But what President Hakainde Hichilema said is the issue of we are one. So if we are one, why we are not uniting? Yes, you know that you are my friend. These borders drawn by colonizers in Berlin, as Mr. President said, we know that. And if we know that these borders are not ours, why we are not, and of course you heard that President Hakainde say these borders separated families. You know, in Africa, you find that the territory, it looks like people was living in territory where maybe father has had in the middle, children, maybe the firstborn somewhere, so lastborn somewhere, like that. It was just scattered. But when these borders came, they they divided those territories. You find that father is in one country, children in another country, or wife remain in one country, husband went to other country. So if we know all of that, and as you heard from Madam Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, that we have resources, and we know we were divided, and as President Ramaphosa said, we don't need hate, we seek partners, and President Duma Boko said we need to trade among ourselves. Why we are not taking actions? Why African leaders cannot come together? And I'm waiting that day when I will wake up in the morning and hearing that African leaders are coming together. Maybe SADC region is going to form one of a powerful country. Because right now you see countries such as Swaziland negotiating with America. You remember what happened? Eswatini, you remember recently there was some deposition of and relocation of immigrant from US to Eswatini. So, but America Eswatini cannot negotiate with America. America is so powerful. So automatically, when America is going to negotiate with Eswatini, automatically the one who is expected to win is America. Eswatini cannot win to America. That's the reality. But if it is just SADC as a country, SADC can negotiate with China, can negotiate with America. And that's why we are saying we know the challenge. We have solutions. Why we fear to implement solutions? Why we fear? We have spoken the issue of single currency. Why these regions don't have a single currency? Maybe we fear tariff. Is it true that we need to sell to someone only for us to survive? Or we can sell our product to other people? So, families, friends, if you have something to share with us, if you have a real solution, please give us solution. Share your solution through the comment section. Why African leaders are beating outside the bush. So we have solutions. We know our challenges. We know these borders was artificial. Why we are still holding these borders? Why we are not saying these borders are artificial? Let us keep these borders as a provinces and let us unite as a bloc. From there, intra-trade, it will be easy because people are trading within a single country. The way we see something happening in America. Resources can benefit all of them. Right now, just imagine a small country such as Rwanda maybe has uranium. It means even has high deposit of uranium, that uranium will benefit few people of Rwanda. But if we are united, maybe Rwanda is a member of East African community. If East Africa is a united country, it means the huge deposit of uranium in Rwanda can benefit the entire community or population of East Africa. The same to SADC, the same to ECOWAS, the same to Sahel. And that's why you see these military leaders, revolutionary leaders, said we are going to unite. And that's what we want to see here in the continent of Africa. So families, friends, fellow Africans, let us not speak for too long. The aim of this video is to find solution and to find the reason why African leaders are not uniting, why all of them, they know that unity is the solution, why we are afraid to unite. After that, have a nice time. See you next time. Thank you.
I am also confident that through the participation of all our international exhibitors at this fair, people-to-people conduct, trade and valuable exchange will be strengthened and lead to broadening our economic landscape. Director of Ceremonies, while progress is evident, challenges remains in our continent and the global south. The infrastructure gaps, such as transport, both land, water, and air, is a serious challenge in the facilitation of the movement of both people and goods between our countries, thus being a limitation to the full implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. It's therefore important for us governments and public and private sectors and business people to work together to provide appropriate investment in the continental infrastructure development, as that is the only way we can realize our inspiration of the African people as articulated in the AU Agenda 2063. Namibia is a member of the AU, have to play her part. Significant achievement has been made in the area of road transport infrastructures. As you all know, we are connected with tire road to all of our neighbors. Are we aware about that? So this we are doing it as part of intra-Africa trades. However, a lot still needs to be done on the railway network and the air service sector. All efforts will be done in the improvement of our rail and the reintroduction of our national airlines. Director of Ceremonies, with the discovery of oil and gas in Namibia and other critical minerals, it's essential that moving forward, those sectors should participate in the Namibian Expo and Trade Fair for our people to understand different services that are required in these industries, that will enable Namibia to participate in the oil and gas and critical minerals by providing the necessary services in addition of being owners in the production and extraction of those resources. In other words, to ensure the effectiveness of the local content among or within those industries. Against that background, I was happy to say the First National Bank, I'm calling on financial institutions, training centers, and innovation hubs to scale up programs that provide youth with access to finances, monitoring, and skill training. I would want the training institutions to talk together with the market, to ensure that we have the necessary skills in the country to serve all the industries, both traditional and upcoming industries, such as oil and gas, as well as critical minerals being discovered in our country. We must start now to have the skills. It will be too late when we come to the point of production and Namibians have no necessary skill. And I cannot stop somebody who invested in exploration and then to say now that you are at the point of production, you must wait until we have the skills. That will not be fair to that investor. So therefore, we must prepare the skills now. Director of ceremony, at the beginning I said, business people are business-like, but we politicians...
Thank you, Africa.